Hi, everyone. Best PR videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Sitting next to me is Mike Brenner. This is the College Basketball Odds Couple show for Tuesday, March 22nd. Mike Brenner, you're all apologetic. You had a 1-3 day.
Actually, I feel like shit. I had this flu overtake me yesterday, and then my games overtook me. It's just one of those days. But you know what? It's Take It Back Tuesday.
Yeah, he comes into my office. He's like all like down and depressed. He's like, I'm 1-3. I'm like, that's an average day for me, Mike Brenner. In college, I mean, you actually, it's just because you stacked the South Carolina picks.
Yeah,
I mean, you had a great call on New Jersey Tech.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. We'll bounce back.
Bad call. Yeah,
you're right.
No,
I just take it personal. I just want to win every fucking game. I know it's not possible, but that is my intention. So with that being said, let's pan this board real quick because, again, I went 1-3 yesterday. Unacceptable. 47-35. Grateful to still be hitting at 57%. Pete was 1-1 yesterday, and 5-5 yesterday.
But most of the totals that I had were pretty dead on, except for San Diego State.
Yep, exactly. So you're definitely in the zone with the total. So 32-36. Pete's up to 47%, officially out of the abyss, and he's going to plunge forward. So with that being said, very, very small slate, but is there profit opportunity, Pete?
Yeah, all right. So should we start with the Sweet 16 look ahead, or should we start with the two
I say
NIT
we do our
games?
picks.
For this NIT?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. There's two games on the card tonight, both interesting games,
Yeah.
right? St. Mary's Valpo and Creighton BYU. And I'll tell you what, we'll start with St. Mary's Valpo. Valpo, a really good team. They're good at home, but St. Mary's, an excellent team as well. Arguably should have made the tournament, the big dance. And they definitely appear to be wanting to win the NIT. Yep. They're getting good points.
That's the team with the chip on the shoulder we were talking about, because they should have been in the big dance.
Sure,
I think so.
I bet this one when it was +5. Now it's down to 4 or 4.5. I think there's probably still some value there, but I bet St. Mary's at +5.
Yeah, I can't say that you did wrong. I took St. Mary's on the first half. I got a +2.5.
All right, yep. Right now it is 2.5.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, why not just take them on the full game +5?
Well, because I'm using them on a teaser as well, so I'm going to find that value in that.
That's what I was going to say. When I looked at these two games, I was like, man, this has teaser written all over it.
Yeah.
Let's move up to Creighton BYU. Creighton, look, an excellent team at times. During the year, I thought they were undervalued. Here, it feels like it's BYU's spot. BYU obviously usually has a big home court advantage, and we discussed in earlier shows that BYU at times was eye-poppingly good, right?
Very good.
Like had some teams where they appeared to have an edge and that would win by 40.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what the hell is up with this BYU team, right?
Did some great perimeter shooting as well.
I'm thinking that I'm leaning BYU here, and I did bet the first half -2.
Okay, you gonna pull the trigger on it?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll bet the first half -2 BYU.
All right.
And do you have a pick on this one?
I have a two-team teaser. I got two picks total. I got the St. Mary's on the first half, +2.5.
Yep.
And then I've got St. Mary's on the teaser. Right, there's a 4-point adjustment, so I got them at +8.5. And then I teased that with BYU -1/2.
When I saw these two games, I was like, man, this has a Mike Brenner classic written all friggin' over it. You know what? I don't usually do basketball teasers here, Mike Brenner, but I'm going to go with you on this one. Just to be a team with it, but I think it looks solid, right?
I think so too.
I think BYU wins. Does St. Mary's lose? Maybe. Do they get blown out? Highly doubt it.
I don't think so. Yeah, so I like that. I think there's good value in that. Again, it's Take It Back Tuesday after that ass whooping yesterday, but we can only take it back one spot at a time. There's not a lot on the board. So
all right, so let's quickly review our picks. I got St. Mary's +4.5. I got BYU on the first half -2, and I'm with you on the two-team teaser. And what are your picks?
Okay, I've got St. Mary's on the first half +2.5, and a two-team teaser with St. Mary's and BYU.
That does it. 3 picks for me, 2 picks for you. And now let's look ahead to the Sweet 16. Have you capped and maybe picked or bet these lines yet? Because I have, Mike Brenner.
I haven't actually broke down the lines. I just looked up the actual matchups because there's some fascinating matchups in there.
Yeah, there are. Well, tell me what has been interesting to you so far.
Well, I think Miami Villanova is going to be an interesting game.
That is one that I bet. Do you want to know the way I bet it?
I would love to.
Over.
Over
140.5. Both these, look, Miami can slow things down or whatever, but one way or another, could be a high-scoring first half, could be one of those games that goes to like the friggin' BU game that I lost on the full game total. One of those games that goes to like 58 in the first half and then 92 points scored in the second half.
My thinking is Coach Jim Larinaga from Miami. I think against Nova, he's going to want to run a lot more to keep up with them. So you might be onto something there, Pete.
Now, it's interesting because the total opened at 142.5. Now it's 140.5. That's the line I bet it. But I would be leaning 140.5. a little bit on the first half as well, but more on the full game. And I did bet that one over 140.5. Do you have a take on that game in terms of a bet?
No, not yet. Sure don't. Not yet. But also the Oregon Duke game I thought was fascinating.
That's another one I bet.
Well, see, I'm just picking them out of there, baby.
That's another one I bet. I think that it's a little betting against Coach K is always in any situation in a big game, big time situation like this treacherous. But my sense is that if Duke's lack of depth and relative lack of talent is going to catch up with them at any point, it's going to be here. And I took Oregon at -3. I missed the opener.
I can't say I blame you. I was just talking to one of our social director, media director guys. He's from Oregon, and I said, they're just very quietly getting it done. Yeah. Nobody's really talking about them, and Duke is not as deep. So I like that, Pete. You might be onto something
prepared,
there.
Though. He'll have that team prepared. But, it's 2.5 or 3 market wide. So that is another one I bet. Then let's move on to one of the very interesting ones, which I did not bet. And it's because I have no idea what to think about it. Maybe you have an idea, but maybe not. Wisconsin, Notre Dame.
That was the one I was thinking that you were going to go. Wisconsin.
Oh, no, I'm still trying to figure it out. I have no one.
Can we revisit a conversation? Do you think now Bo Ryan's scratching his head saying, I should have fucking waited till the end of the year to retire? I mean, not everybody goes to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that
team is
win,
playing on momentum.
Yeah, and that win over Xavier, we were lucky to come away with the split on that one with the cover in the first half.
Absolutely.
And so hats off to them. If they can beat Xavier, of course they can beat Notre Dame, right?
And you would think so. And Notre Dame only won at the very end. They were never really ahead in that last game.
Exactly. Xavier's better than Notre Dame, right?
I think so.
So if they can beat Xavier, why is this not a no-brainer automatic play on Wisconsin?
On paper it's written down, it should be. But it's March Madness, and that's the beauty of it, bro. I love it.
Maybe we'll have a pick on this on Friday. That's when our final picks come in. As of right now, I'm still watching and waiting. And then, Indiana, UNC. UNC obviously rolling, very impressive, but they're giving a decent amount of points to Indiana. My lean on this one is actually to the under at 160. Obviously, UNC
Why is that?
Well, because UNC has been sort of under the radar, better than expected, better than normal on defense.
Okay.
And my sense is that it's not a huge lean, but it's my initial thought. I didn't bet it yet, though.
Okay, well, that was my next question, if you had bet it yet. So.
Do you have anything to say about that one? Seems like a lot of points at first glance.
It does.
But a 15-point win would not shock anyone.
Exactly. And I just think North Carolina's going to grab momentum early in this game. So I really do. I think they'll be ready. I think coaching's going to win this game. And I don't know, buddy. This is March Madness. Anything can happen, but I'm fired up for this coming weekend.
And then a big one is Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Now, this one is looking like it's possible that there could be, in retrospect, huge value on Oklahoma, right?
I think they're liable to not blow them out, but I think they're able to. I think they're going to handle this team.
Right.
Yeah, I really do.
Kind of like up by 7 the whole
way. And again,
that
Oklahoma the other day came through for me. I said, this is the day they're finally all that experience playing together for 3 straight seasons. Started 103 games together. Well, they looked like that team the other day. So
opened at 1.5. Now it's 2.5. But you also have had a notably good read on Texas A&M in general over the past bunch of weeks. You've been on the right side of them a bunch of times. So what's your take on them?
My take on them is that they're not going to be prepared.
Right,
they're not going to be prepared, and they showed it the other day. I mean, how they're down 12, Pete, with 44 seconds left. That's never happened again, ever.
Never.
Ever. So I think they're going to just go off of that, and I think Oklahoma's going to be licking their chops, baby.
And that might be a good one to do, like a first half and second half thing. Just bet Oklahoma on the first half. If they lose the first half, double up on Oklahoma on the second half. And then we have another interesting one, Gonzaga and Syracuse. Is Gonzaga going to be able to shoot over the zone? I don't know, but even if they can, they're given 4.5, which is kind of a lot there.
And I think this game should be more than even. I think it could be a pick 'em or -1.
Right.
So that line definitely surprised me, Pete.
Yeah.
And either one of them though could come away with the win. It's really interesting.
That's another one that I was scratching my head a little bit on the opening line. Still going to do some research and watching and waiting. Yep. And then Iowa State, Virginia is another interesting one, right? Virginia, when they're on, they can get margin wins over good teams.
I think
you think so?
Yeah. I do. I think this is when Iowa State's youth and lack of coaching catches up with them this week. So.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 points is on the one hand could be a lot, on the one hand could not be a lot. My initial sense on that one was a lean to the under, but I didn't bet that one yet.
Okay.
And what else did we not discuss? Maryland and Kansas.
Yeah.
The question is just, is Maryland's, on paper, they have the talent to come within 6.5, which is a lot of points, right?
They do. But I think Kansas is definitely capable of winning this thing in double digits. I think Bill Self has them right where he wants them as far as mentally. I think they're mentally prepared, and I think this team is capable of just grabbing the whole damn thing.
So you have any particular thoughts that you want to leave leave us with in terms of the Sweet 16?
It's one of the best Sweet 16 brackets I've seen in a while. This is an excellent March Madness.
In terms of potential bets?
Well, of course, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and give them out because I have four definite strong plays that I'm going to myself personally double down on.
Well, I'm happy to share what I've already bet, which again, I bet the over, 140.5 in Miami, Villanova, and I did bet Oregon. And
it was what? Oregon 3, right?
Yeah, -3. And I think that's it, right? Is there anything else I bet? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think you were just leaning. You were leaning. But tune in because we will have some strong plays, and I'm telling you, that's going to be a great way to finish out the tournament as we get into the Final Four and the Elite Eight. But I'm looking forward to it, buddy. I am.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday card.
And we will have more energy. I know that I will.